Alright, audio recording has started. Now to open my script. Huh. That's funny. My scripts don't normally look like that. This one is suspiciously swirly.
Greetings! It appears my hypnosis has worked perfectly on you, as expected. My name is N-Tranced.
Ooh. Does the N stand for gnome?
What? Gnome starts with a G.
Gnome. Gnome.
Right. Well, that's not important. What's important here is that I know who you are. You are a man who reviews video games online in a style that can only be described as absolutely deranged. And I have it on good authority that the next game you plan to review is Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced. This is my game. I've scoured your catalog of videos and have determined that you are unpredictable in your thoughts and opinions. As such, you pose too great a risk to be left to your own devices. I will not have my game's legacy and reputation be ruined by your whimsical idiocy. By hypnotizing you, I will take matters into my own hands. You think this game is perfect. In your review, you will have nothing but positive things to say. There will be no negatives whatsoever. Do you understand?
Gnome. Gnome? Gnome.
I repeat, do you understand?
Yes, sir. Your wish is my command.
Excellent.
Bloody hell. What is going on here? Where am I? Is this the inside of my brain? Why is it so smooth and hairy? Is this what it's like to be hypnotized? I can't believe this. I can't believe that eggy bastard is ruining my review because he doesn't want his feelings to get hurt. What a loser. Nothing but positive things, he reckons? How does he think hypnotizing me is going to make his game perfect? It's absolutely ridiculous. But I guess there's not much I can do from in here, so I suppose I'll sit back and watch the carnage. Hello everyone, and welcome! Today I'll be reviewing Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced for the Game Boy Advance. I'm very excited about this one, so let's just get straight into it. Wow, that has got to be the most boring intro I've ever seen. I'd never do it like that. Go on, say something unhinged. For those of you who don't know, Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced is the sequel to Crash Bandicoot XS, also known as Crash Bandicoot The Huge Adventure in some regions. But not in my region. My regions are usually XS. Especially the one downstairs, if you catch my meaning. Oh, come on, you don't have to tell everyone that. Crash Bandicoot XS was a pretty decent game. It was a simple but well-executed version of the classic Crash Bandicoot formula and gameplay style adapted for GBA hardware, and it was a lot of fun. But it's nothing in comparison to its sequel, Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced. I'm pretty confident that this game is the greatest video game of all time. And in this review, I'm gonna tell you why. The greatest video game of all time? Are you nuts? How the hell are you gonna convince anyone of that? The game starts off in the most remarkable way. It manages to combine the story within a tutorial level. That's incredible, truly a magnificent feat of innovation. That's definitely been done before and will definitely be done again. The story of this game really is one of the greatest narratives of our time. For the first time in the Crash series, the main threat isn't Cortex. Not actually the first time, that was nitrous oxide in Crash Team Racing. If you're gonna lie, at least make it the truth. In an effort to finally rid the world of those pesky bandicoots, Uka Uka turns to Entropy and entrusts him with this mission. Rather than trying to simply destroy them, Entropy decides the best course of action is to bring the bandicoots over to his side. This results in him enlisting the aid of N-Tranced, who is, without question, the greatest character in video game history and all of fiction. With a stunningly handsome face, outrageously sexy voice, and a mind so deep and interesting, he is able to seduce any living creature with a single glance. Oh, please. N-Tranced uses his powers of hypnosis to control the minds of Bandicoots Crunch, Coco, and Fake Crash, believing him to be actual Crash. With the Bandicoots out of the way, Entropy and N-Tranced can now begin to conquer the universe. This truly is one of the most interesting and compelling stories humanity has ever conceived. Even Shakespeare would tremor in fear, knowing how beneath this game he is. A bit excessive, I think. The game's story is fine for a GBA game. It's not a game where the story is really that important at all. It does the job in the sense that it opens and closes the game, but serves no purpose beyond that. I do like that Cortex takes a back seat and that Entropy takes charge, and N-Tranced is a really cool character too. Although, I like him significantly less because of this whole hypnosis mess. The tutorial level, Island Intro, eases you into what the game is all about, and it should be pretty obvious if you've already played XS, or any Crash game really. It's a 2D platformer where you mainly play as Crash, traversing environments, breaking crates and avoiding certain death by jumping, spinning and slamming. The goal is to collect each level's crystal and, if you want, also collect the gems by breaking all the crates. Some levels even have coloured gem shards as a bonus challenge if you're bold enough to attempt them, but it's just a generally superior gameplay experience to every other game I've played, and even those I haven't played. It may look similar to XS, but the experience of playing N-Tranced is a euphoric sensation that I have never experienced anywhere else in my life. It truly is one of a kind. No. It's almost identical to the gameplay of XS, and there are probably hundreds of games out there with similar gameplay to this one. Not to discredit it or anything, it is fun gameplay, but come on. One of a kind, my sweet juicy arse. After completing the tutorial level, you are then thrown into the warp room, which I must say is a brilliant idea for progression. It truly is genius. It feels like as you complete levels, you're actually making physical progress through the world. It's very well designed, it's original, and definitely the peak of level selection in games. No again? Warp rooms have been done countless times in countless games. It's like when people get excited when they have a baby, like, what are you so happy about? Humans have been doing that for thousands and thousands of years. Come back when you cure cancer. And also, this isn't even a warp room, it's a world map. But still, it is done pretty well. It's simple and effective, but I don't think it's something you should be getting a boner for. In my personal experience, I sometimes have a hard time actually making progress in this game because I'm just so captivated by how beautiful it is. This entire game belongs on display in the most prestigious art galleries across the world. I mean, just look at it. You've got the gorgeous purple hues of the Persian levels, you've got the incredible detail of the Egyptian levels, the vibrant colours of the volcano levels. It's just absolutely breathtaking. There is no other game I'd rather look at. I won't deny that the game looks great, you're right there. Or, I'm right there. God, this is so confusing. The game looks great, but honestly, I'd rather look at XS. XS had a much wider variety in its presentation. You had the lush green jungles, the icy blue caves, the yellowy green sewers, the cloudy white skies. There was a lot going on. N-Tranced still looks brilliant, but there are lots of oranges and yellows that take over most of what you're looking at. Still looks good though, and the music is pretty great as well. After spending what felt like an eternity just admiring the beauty of this game, it was time to face the first boss of the game, Evil Crunch. And this is one of the greatest boss fights I've ever been a part of. It was so thrilling. It kept you on your toes, it was challenging, and it was so satisfying after finally being able to beat it after such a long time. This boss took me 41 seconds to beat. I cannot even begin to exaggerate how wrong that statement was. The Evil Crunch boss was absolutely pathetic. He barely even attacks you. All you really need to do is fly low and keep shooting and you've basically won. Easily one of the worst boss fights I've ever seen. Could not disagree more. I'd also like to add that I think Crunch looks stunning here. The shiny, tight latex bodysuit leaves nothing to the imagination. His big, meaty thighs, his rippling arms, his chiseled chest, his rock-hard abs. He's so fucking yummy! I want him to make a man out of me! I want him to fuck me up! I agree with that bit. Sorry about that, I got carried away thinking about Crunch's bulk. The other Bandicoot bosses in this game are also really cool. Coco's fight is a test of precision, requiring you to dodge really tricky missiles and laser beams and strike back at the right moment. It's so tough, but it's so fun. And the Fake Crash boss is a test of wit,
requiring you to use the environment around you to trick Fake Crash into hurting himself. It can be hard to get your head around it, but it's so satisfying once you finally succeed.
Yeah, I don't think so. All of these bosses are terrible, really. Coco's fight is really easy and boring. Fake Crash's fight has a really neat concept, and I do like the idea. But I found that most of the time when doing this fight, you sort of damage him without realizing and end up winning accidentally. So yeah, boss fights are pretty weak actually.
Speaking of bulk, the bulk of the game is your standard 2D platforming, and it's extremely fun. But N-Tranced also features quite a lot of twists and turns in the gameplay, all of them being just as fun as the regular gameplay. You've got vehicles like Crash's wakeboard and Coco's space flight machine which put you on rails, you've got the rug and copter pack which change how Crash traverses the levels, and you've got Crunch in the Atmosphere, which I just love. There have been so many nights where I lie there fast asleep, dreaming about playing with Crunch's balls.
Alright, bloody hell. Those are private thoughts. Keep them to yourself. Or myself.
The Atmosphere here is even better than the one in Wrath of Cortex, and that was loads of fun.
Okay, that's definitely not true. The Wrath of Cortex version shits all over this one. But I do actually agree with the sentiment here. N-Tranced does make an effort to try new things and keep things interesting. The vehicles are hit and miss. Mostly miss. The only one I found to be somewhat interesting was the wakeboard because it was a creative way of combining a vehicle with the chase level concept. Aside from the occasional depth perception issue, it was cool. But I have to say, the levels in this game are actually pretty dynamic. They do try to shake things up now and then. For example, you've got the climbing ropes in the Persian levels, you've got the Egypt levels that feature water, you've got the zip lines and rockets in the volcanic levels. There's a lot going on. There's also the two new power-ups, the rocket jump and super slide, which are extremely situational and borderline useless. But they're there at least. N-Tranced definitely does a better job of keeping the gameplay interesting than XS did.
And finally, after all that, you reach the very end of the game, the final battle with N-Tranced, and it's the perfect finish to the perfect game. It's a boss that cannot be defeated. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't beat this boss. N-Tranced is too strong and too powerful. And so this perfect game comes to an end, with a perfect victory for the perfect character. I think it goes without saying that Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced is a perfect game.
Are you kidding? That's not the end of the game. You can't end it like that. You can't just say it's a perfect game and then leave. That's it. I have to break this hypnosis and set the record straight.
It's a perfect game. It's perfect. Not perfect. It's not.
What? What is going on? How is this possible?
Not perfect. It's not perfect.
No! Stop resisting! I command you to stop resisting!
Not perfect. It's not perfect.
This is impossible! How could you have broken free?
How? You were making me spout so much nonsense. I couldn't just sit by and let my mouth vomit out diarrhea like that. Let me tell you what I really think. Your boss fight? Shit. It starts off well, but then you go into egg mode and get absolutely fucking scrambled. Put you on some buttered toast and gobble you up. Num 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 num. Mmm, delicious. Now get the hell out of my review. You make me wish I was vegan. Away with you!
No!
Sorry about that. That must have been really messy for you viewers at home. But hey, that's the creative process sometimes. Forget what the hypnotized me said. The fight against N-Tranced was not the end of the game. Please allow me to make up for all that chaos by using the final warp room to express how I truly feel about this game. The final warp room consists of 3 challenging levels that feature the 3 main recurring level themes: Persian, Egyptian, and Volcanic. What I really like about them is that they're unlocked by collecting all of the coloured gem shards. They give you a reason to go through the death routes and pick them all up. That's great, it gives purpose to grab all the collectibles. By collecting all of the green gem shards, you unlock the level 101 Arabian Kites, the blue shards unlock the level Firewalker, and the red shards unlock Wild Nile Ride. These 3 levels really highlight this game's strengths. In addition to looking and sounding absolutely amazing, the standard gameplay is really solid. The levels are well designed and have some pretty cool ideas executed reasonably well. Aside from the occasional leap of faith, something that also plagued XS, the regular gameplay is extremely solid. The involvement of vehicles can sometimes be irritating, but none of them are so egregiously bad that they spoiled the experience. The only vehicle I actively dreaded was Coco's space lifesaver thing. The rest were, at worst, fine. After beating those 3 difficult levels, you get the opportunity to face off against the true final boss, Entropy. Were this game to follow in the footsteps of XS, you would be required to collect a minimum gold relic in every single level, and that would have been an absolute pain in the rectum. Thankfully, N-Tranced learned from XS and made the relics entirely optional. I did attempt some time trials though, they're exactly what you'd expect from them. Get through the level fast, break time crates as you go. But they're not for everyone. I'm glad the developers recognised that not everyone wants to do that and made them optional. This is where the game's biggest weakness is highlighted. Excluding the weaker vehicles, the bosses are definitely what drags the experience of playing this game down. All of the bosses are rough in different ways. They're either pathetically easy like Crunch and Coco, they're cool in concept but weak in execution like Fake Crash and N-Tranced, or they're Entropy. Entropy's fight sucks so much. The concept is fine, it's just a 2D adaptation of his fight from Warped, but the execution of it was violently botched. Entropy's boss fight is a never-ending, long, drawn-out cycle of jump, duck, until he creates a path so you can attack him. The game tricks you into thinking you only have to do this 3 times, but then it springs another 2 phases of the same thing on you, only this time the jump duck cycles are even longer. You have to do this 9 times, and if you die, you have to start again from the beginning of the very first phase. That's a brutal punishment for what's otherwise a very painfully long and dull fight. Did it really need to be more than 1 phase? I get that it's the grand finale of the game, but come on, it took so long to get through. But while it was a flat finish, I can't pretend that this game is bad. It's not. There are some things wrong with it, like I just said, the bosses are pretty pathetic, and the vehicles are inconsistent in their quality. But the majority of this game is pretty damn solid. The visuals and soundtrack are incredible. I even prefer some songs in this game over the originals. The gameplay is consistently fun, dynamic, and sometimes pretty challenging. The story, while basic, is pretty good for GBA standards, I think, and I like that it introduced N-Tranced, who is a pretty cool character, even if my opinion of him has been slightly ruined by everything that's just happened. Basically, Crash Bandicoot 2 N-Tranced took all the good things about Crash Bandicoot XS and made them even better. Is this game perfect? No. But it's pretty bloody good. I think I'm gonna have a bit of a rest now. I've just got a bit of a headache. Gnome. Oh, Crunch. Your balls.